Hello everyone, welcome back. Severus here, coming back with part 12 of What If Deku Had a Stand. Now, where we last left off, it was the second part of the sport festival, be it the cavalry battle, and after Midoriya winning by that very dirty and unheroic plan against Todoroki, taking him out of the match, he managed to, well, proceed to the next event, which is the 1v1 battle. And now, before that, Todoroki told him that he wanted to talk with him about some things. And before I get right into it, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's just jump right into it. Right now, Todoroki standing in front of Midoriya, giving him the cold look in his eyes, staring directly into his soul, while Midoriya gulping his throat, saying, "What is it? What does he want? I mean, is he angry because I won against him or something like that? I mean, it was a fight. What does he expect from me? Or is he angry on that?" But before Midoriya continues saying anything in his mind, Todoroki said, "First of all, if you're wondering, no, I'm not angry. Neither I have a grudge on you." As Midoriya having confused look saying, "Huh? It was a fight, and they told us to use our quirks in any way, shape, or form, regardless of what are we going to do. So, all what you did is just use your abilities to its fullest potential, and prepared a plan that managed to defeat me. If anything, it was my fault for not focusing. So no, it's not that I'm angry on you for sticking one of your cards into my bag and taking me out of the match so quickly." As Izuku said, "Well, sorry, but I, kinda..." As Todoroki said, "You don't need to explain anything. As I told you before, I don't have a grudge on you, and I'm not regretting anything. However, the only thing that I am angry about is the fact that you made me use my fire." As Midoriya said, "Your fire? Actually, that's a good question. Why don't you use your fire? You didn't use it in the, obstacle race. You didn't use it in the cavalry battle. Why did you?" As Todoroki said, "In a battle, I'll never use his side, no matter what. But your quirk have forced me to use it. I rejected this side from when I was 4 years old. And you, Midoriya, have forced me to use it." As he's staring into Izuku with an angry look. As Izuku said, "Why don't you want to use your fire?" As Todoroki said, "Well, it's easy, because it's the side of my dear old dad that's watching this sport festival as we speak. And I always promised myself to never use it after what happened." As Izuku wondering, saying, "What did happen?" As Todoroki said, "Well, let me tell you." But before he managed to say anything else, someone just appeared out of nowhere, grabbed Midoriya's hand saying, "Excuse us, but Midoriya have more important things than listening to your old little story." As Izuku looking in front of him to see that Emmy is just dragging him away, while Izuku said, "Hey, why me and Todoroki were..." As she just grabbing him even harder saying, "We are leaving. Now, goodbye, Todoroki." As Todoroki said, "Wait a minute, As she said, "Spare us the trouble. We don't have any time to listen to your backstory." As she just walks away with Midoriya. As Todoroki's like, "But I was... what?" As Todoroki just standing there in confusion about, first of all, who's that girl? He doesn't even know her. Second of all, why does she drag Midoriya away? And third of all, that was very rude. But with Midoriya on the other side, after Emmy dragged him a bit far away from that place, he finally trying to break out of her grasp, but goddamn, when did her hand became so strong? As she finally left his hand, and Izuku said, "Ouch, my wrist!" As Emmy just slaps him on his face, and Izuku said, "What was that for?" As she said, "That for using that very dirty and unheroic plan." As she slapped him again, "And this is for going with Todoroki to talk with him, knowing full well that it won't be a good idea." As she slapped him a third time, saying, "And this? Well, this, I don't really have a reason for it." As Izuku said, "Ouch! Can you just stop?" as Emmy said, "Oh, sorry. I got a bit carried away. Either way, you should not talk with your, well, enemies. Inside the arena, you're enemies. Maybe in class you're friends, but here, you're nothing more than enemies. So you better prepare yourself and focus on the next matches. I can't afford to let you go on to, listen to Todoroki's talking and mumbling about his sad backstory." As Izuku said, "But he was going to tell me something," as Ami said, "I know that very well. He'll just gonna tell you his sad backstory about why does he not use his other side of his quirk. So, you don't have to listen to it. Focus on your matches. He lost the match, well, good for him. And good for you, because you'll be able to win the sport festival. So focus, for goddammit." As Izuku said, sure? As Ami said, "Alright, just put..." Wait a minute, what was the word? As she taken her little notebook saying, put your, as Izuku said, "Puts a backbone into it?" As Ami said, "No, it was like, put your head up in the game, yeah, that's what I was actually, maybe it's not the right word, As Izuku started chuckling to himself, saying, even though that we spent like 2 weeks together, you still don't really know how to talk very well, don't you?" As Ami said, "Yeah, sorry, just... I never learned these simple words or these... I..." As Izuku's just putting his hand on her shoulder, saying, "Don't worry. You'll learn to be normal with the rest of the people again. But to be honest with you, you don't need to change so much. I like the way that you are." As she, well, taking it a bit back, saying, "Wait, what?" As Izuku said, "I like the way that you are. Sure, it may be hard sometimes to communicate with you, but I like your, cold shoulder in a weird way. Well, either way, take a good seat, because I promised you that I'll win the sport festival, and that's what I'm planning to do, so bye, Ami." As Izuku walking away while Ami standing there saying, "You like me the way that I am?" Wait a minute, as she just taken her notebook saying, "What is that called? Wait, where is that? I mean," as well, she just closed her notebook saying, "Stop it, Ami. Just go watch the sport festival and cheer for him. He gone so far not to win. Take a deep breath. Alright? Back to the game." As she just walking away, taking her seat back, while Izuku, after preparing for the next match, which is, would you guess, Izuku Midoriya against Shinso. As there's really anything I could say about this fight. It's simply gone as anybody would expect it, with Midoriya's win and Shinso's lost, which is not a very important fight. However, the next fight, it's a bit important, because it was, as Principal Nezu, or President Mike said, "Now everyone, the next match will be Izuku Midoriya against Tokoyami." What do you think, Mummy Man? 2 people with weird quirks that allows them to summon creatures out of their bodies. This will be a very strong fight, wouldn't you say? As Aizawa said, "Yes, but I believe that Midoriya have the upper hands here." As President Mike said, and what make you believe in that? Would you explain?" As, well, Mr. Aizawa said, "Well, simply, Midoriya have... it seems that Midoriya have took more potential with his abilities. He have more than Tokoyami's have. Tokoyami can sure summon a dark shadow and allows him to, well, shoot it on other people and attack them. However, Midoriya have more versatile equipments and more versatile abilities." As, well, President Mike said, "You said it, Mommy Man. Well, let's see what will gonna happen after all. We don't know what will happen. There may be something like, I don't know, a last result twist or something like that. Well, either way, it's enough talking. Let's get up into the punching part, shall we? As Izuku and Tokoyami steps inside the arena. With Tokoyami said, I hope that we will be able to fight an honorable fight. Midoriya, as Izuku said, yeah, Tokoyami. Though I'm not holding back on you, as Tokoyami said, that's what I would love. Either way, Midnight said 3, 2, 1, go! As immediately Tokoyami shooting his dark shadow without any questions asked. As Izuku summoning King Card, and King Card slamming his staff against the head of Dark Shadow, while he's saying, excuse me, but I'm not allowing you to win. As Dark Shadow just, saying, well, I'm not allowing you to win either. My master asked me to kill you. As, well, Tokoyami said, I didn't ask for you to kill him. I said defeat him. As, well, Dark Shadow said sorry, but immediately King Card starts slashing Dark Shadow, saying, don't look away from the fight, Dark Shadow. As, well, Dark Shadow starts throwing some punches into King Card, while King Card's throwing some of his own punches into Dark Shadow, while Midoriya saying in his head, I can end this fight quickly, but I don't know what will happen if I turn Dark Shadow into a card. That may result in some things that I don't know, so it will be better if we just throw some punches. As Tokoyami looking into Midoriya saying, you're holding back, aren't you? As Izuku looking into, Tokoyami, while Tokoyami, Dark Shadow still fighting against King Card, he's speaking with Midoriya saying, I believe you can turn Dark Shadow into a card any minute, and yet you're refusing to do that. Why? As Izuku just looking into Tokoyami, while Tokoyami said, well, either way, I do not wish to hold back on you. As, well, Dark Shadow immediately wrapped itself around King Card and gone to attack Midoriya. However, when that happened, Izuku throwing a card into Dark Shadow, which suddenly swapped the place with King Card's, summoning him in front of Dark Shadow, grabbing him by the neck and, well, slamming him to the ground. As immediately Izuku started dashing toward Tokoyami, while Tokoyami said Dark Shadow. However, Dark Shadow is not, well, getting out of the grasp of King Card, as he said, you're staying down, little bird. As Izuku just rushing toward Tokoyami, while Tokoyami dodged Midoriya's punch. Immediately, Tokoyami grabbing Midoriya by his arm and was about to flip him above his head before Midoriya grabs his ground and flipped Tokoyami above his head, slamming him to the ground. As before Izuku throw another punch into Tokoyami's face, he managed to dodge the attack, as Tokoyami looking to see King Card still holding Dark Shadow to the ground. And Izuku said, I told you, I'm not allowing you to win so easily. And I know that you cannot summon your Dark Shadow back normally. You need to make him come back to you. That's why you are connected by that line. However, me and King Card are not connected. We don't have the same connection between you and Dark Shadow. As King Card said, we're mostly two separate people. As Izuku said, well, not in that way, but as King Card said, deal with him, master. I'll make sure to keep this little bird on the ground. As Tokoyami said, a very good plan indeed. However, not just because you managed to capture my Dark Shadow does not mean that I'm losing so quickly. As Tokoyami starts fighting against Midoriya with some punches. However, Izuku's not just throwing punches to Tokoyami, he's also using some of his cards to slash him. But he's making sure not to slash so hard, because if he, well, stabbed these cards a bit closer into Tokoyami's skin, he might accidentally cut off a finger or a limb altogether. In the end, Midoriya managed to defeat Tokoyami in a punching fight. After all, Izuku have trained his body more than Tokoyami have done. So, after all, Izuku is the winner. And President Mike in the mic saying, well, Izuku Midoriya won the second match. Tokoyami is out. As after that, Izuku just holding his hand to help Tokoyami stand up, and Tokoyami said, well, it seems that I have more things to learn. As Izuku said, you're actually good. More than normal than I expected. As Tokoyami said, not good enough for me. I seem that I'll have to train my body more. However, thanks for the fight. As Tokoyami just bows down, and Dark Shadow just lifting up, his thumbs, and they just left the arena. While Izuka and King Card leaving to go and take a rest too. As King Card, speaking in Midoriya's head, saying, We really are making everyone look and see what we can do. Right, Master? As Izuka said, yeah, however, we still have one thing left. Katsuki. As King Card said, what are you worried about? We will beat that little dog to the ground. He will not gonna know even what hit him. As Izuka said, I mean, why are you so angry on Katsuki? As King Card said, why am I angry on him? Is that a question to be asked? After all, you from all people should hate him more than me. As Izuku said, why? As King Card said, don't you remember? All those years ago? As, Izuku actually remembers something as he said, wait, you mean in middle school? As King Card said, I don't mean in middle school, I mean 15 years of continuous torment. You simply forgot about it. Master, how can that be possible? I refuse to believe that you could possibly forgive such a being like him. The only thing that he deserves is simply, as Izuku said, don't you dare to say it. If you dare to hurt Bakugo in any way, shape, or form, I will, as King Card said, I understand, however, allow me to hurt him. I want to break a couple of bones. As Izuku said, look, in a fight, you can fight him, but do not turn him into a card. If you did this, as King Card said, I understand, Master. However, I simply cannot forgive him. As King Card just disappeared, and Midoriya said, hey, don't you disappear on me like this. King Card! Damn it. As Izuku just holding his head saying, why the hell is wrong with King Card? I mean, sure, Baku is quite an asshole, but still. I don't want to do the same thing that I did to him. As Izuku holding the card of the sludge villain, saying in his mind, I don't even know what this guy's fate was. Is he dead or is he just trapped for all eternity? As he just shaking his head, saying, don't think about it, Midoriya, just don't think about it too hard. What happened did happen and you didn't know what you'd done. I just should focus. As Izuku was walking away to the resting room before, from behind someone saying, hey, Midoriya, what are you doing? As Izuku turning around to see Uraka, as he said, oh, Uraka, what are you doing here? As she said, I came out from the infirmary after what Katsuki done to me. As Izuku said, oh yeah, you're fighting against Bakugo. As she said, thanks for the infos, however, I wasn't, able to use them very clearly, so I lost. As Izuku said, don't worry. I mean, you done good. As she said, you really think so? Because I'm not very sure. I feel like I just was... As Izuku said, don't, hit yourself too much about it. You done very well. Against Baku at least. After all, that last attack of yours when you managed to make all the rubble fall was so creative. As Uraka said, you really believe so? As Izuku said, well, of course. Don't worry. I'm sure you're gonna get some, people have saw you, and I'm sure your family are happy with what you accomplished. As, Uraka said, yeah, you're right. Of course mom and dad are happy. I should focus on that more than, on the lost. As Izuku said, yep. Well, either way. I'm gonna go take a rest. After all, I have a fight against Katsuki in the last match. As Uraka said, oh yeah, I forgot about it. Midoriya, can you give him a punch for me? As Izuku said, you got that. I'll do it, don't worry. As Uraka, just waving bye to Midoriya. And Izuku going away into the resting room before Uraka was going to, sit to watch the rest of the matches until someone stand in front of her face, surprising her, making her fall on her back. As Uraka said, who are you? as she looked to see, well, Emmy, as she said, sorry, did I scare you too much? As Araka said, oh, yeah, you're Midoriya's friends, right? As, well, Emmy said, yep, I'm his friend. As she just helped Araka stand up while Araka said, yeah, sorry about what, our meeting at the gate wasn't that, as Emmy said, you don't have to apologize. I am the one that should have to apologize. I was a bit weirded out by Midoriya's friend. As Araka said, yeah, I know. I didn't know that Deku had as immediately Emmy just looking at her with a death glare saying, call him Deku a second time, and I'll make you lose all sense of humanity. As Araka said, what is that supposed? As suddenly, Araka just, something just grabs into Araka's neck, lifting her up in the air, while she's not even sure what's lifting her up. She just see Emmy standing there, but something is just holding her neck. An invisible being. As she's like, what am I? As Emmy said, Ochako Araka, am I right? From what I read about you, you have been saved by Izuku at the, entrance exams. However, let me tell you this. Call him Deku a second time, and I'll make you regret your decisions. I'll ruin you more than you already are ruined. As Araka said, what are you talking about? We're just friends. As Emmy said, don't lie to me. I know exactly what you are. And if you ever try to stand in my way, I am going to. As, immediately Izuku coming back saying, oh, and Araka, I forgot to. As when Izuku come back, he just see Emmy with Araka. As Izuku said, oh, Emmy, you're here. As Emmy just putting her hand around Araka's shoulder saying, yeah, let's go drink some coffee later, alright? As Araka said, what? As Emmy whispered in her ear saying, walk this with me or you're dead. As Araka said, oh yeah, sure, let's drink some coffee later. As Izuku said, oh, Emmy, you're here. Well, Araka, can I have my notebook back that I gave you? As Araka said, you mean the notebook with Bakugo's infos? As Izuku said, yeah, can I have it back? As Araka said, sure. I believe I have it here and forgot to give it to you. As she just handed it to Midoriya and Izuku said, thanks. Well, see you around. As he just walking away while Ami's still having her hand around Araka's neck saying, you were lucky this one time, Ochako Araka from UA. However, next time you won't be so fortunate. As, Araka just gulping her throat before Amy just walking away saying, see you around, friend. As she's just leaving the place while Araka having shivers down her spine saying, what was all that about? I mean, what does she mean by ruining me? And what does she say if I stand in her way? I mean, she doesn't believe that. No, I mean, me and Midoriya are just friends, simply friends, are we? It's not like I'm, like him or anything. We are just friends. And alright, Araka, just stop thinking about it. Just go take your seats. And, as she just slapping herself, saying, get yourself together. As she just gone to take her seat. Well, with Izuku that, after the resting time, he finally gone into the area against Katsuki Bakugo with President Mike saying, well, here we are, the last match in the sports festival, and it shall be Izuku Midoriya against Katsuki Bakugo, two of the top students of Class 1A. This will be a very hard fight, wouldn't you say, Aizawa? As Aizawa said, yeah, I believe so. Izuku and Bakugo are very talented in their own way. I'm not very sure how this fight will gonna go. As President Mike said, you said it, mommy man. And instead of wondering how this fight will gonna go, why don't we just watch it, shall we? As, in the arena down below, Baku's just stretching his arm while Izuku's cracking his neck, and Baku said, "I'll make you eat those words." As Izuku said, what words? As Baku said, "The words that you told me after the, obstacle race, deku." As Izuku said, it's technically, I'm not the one that said it. King's is the one. Oh, shut up. Stop acting as if your own quirk have its own consciousness. As Midoriya said in his head, but he's right and not right at the same time. King Card does have a consciousness, but it's like my subconsciousness, and it's... As Izuku starts wondering until Baku snap him into reality, saying, "I'm gonna beat you to the ground and show you your place again, Deku." As Izuku said, okay. As King Card appears, saying, "Bring it on, mud." As Baku just getting even more angrier, while Izuku said, "I didn't say it, he was." As President Mike said, 3, 2, 1, begin! As immediately Baku just dashing forward with explosions behind of him, immediately surprising Midoriya. However, King Card's not so much. That he basically grabbed Midoriya and throw him out of the harm's way before, switching his place with one of the cards that Midoriya have in his deck. As King Card said, "Master, please focus. What's your orders?" As Izuku said, alright. As Baku said, "Nice dodge. Let's see if you're gonna dodge the second one." As he just dashes forward to King Card and attacking him, throwing an explosion to him before King Card throwing one of his cards towards the explosion, which is chopped the explosions in half. As Baku just dodging the card that was about to hit him, leaving a little mark on his cheek. As Baku seeing that his cheek starts to bleed and looking into the wall behind of him to see that the card of King Card have stabbed into the wall. Looking back into Midoriya, as King Card said, "Be careful, these are a bit too sharp." As Baku just getting even angrier before dashing towards King Card, throwing an explosion in front of him. However, from behind, he tried to jump behind of him and attack Midoriya, but King Card switches his place again with one of the cards that Midoriya's have, blocking Baku's attack with his staff. As Baku said, "Are you just gonna throw your stupid quirk at me, Deku?" As Izuku said, "King Card," as King Card said right away, as he grabs Bakugo's arm and throws him back before Bakugo maneuvers up in the air, spins around trying to take King Card by surprise. However, he really cannot take King Card by surprise. After all, King Card have his own subconsciousness that allows him to, predict Bakugo's movement, and he already read about him in Midoriya's notebook. Besides, Izuku having his own eyes to look out for King Card. And Baku, if he tried to attack Midoriya, King Card can simply switch his place with another card of Midoriya's deck. And right now, Izuku jumping away back with King Card standing in front of him, and Baku standing on the other side of the arena. While King Card just, cracking his fingers, Baku's swapping away his sweat, saying, "Deku." As Izuku said, "Alright, King, let's do this." As King said, "Right away, Master." As Izuku just grabbing a couple of cards in his hand, throw them into the direction of Bakugo. Bakugo managed to dodge these cards, however, when he dodged them, King Card switches his place in that very moment when Bakugo dodged one of the cards, with one of the cards that were about to touch him, as he immediately just throws a punch into Bakugo's face, throwing him to the other side of the arena. As Bakugo's just holding his face, saying, "I'm going to kill you for this." As King Card said, "Kill me? You can't even kill a little fly, even if it was in front of you. You can't even aim very clearly with your explosions. Heck, you can't even shoot a water in the sea." As Izuku said, "King Card, if you could," as King Card said, "you were always the loser of the middle school. Deep down you knew that my master was all above you in every way, shape, and form. You could never get his heroic mentality. And that's why you are always bullying him, knowing very well that you will never going to be as great as him. Maybe he wasn't having a quirk, and maybe he was always following you around, but deep down inside your heart, you knew from the very moment that you met that he was far ahead of you by miles. Am I right?" doggy. As Bug just getting angrier and angrier while Midoriya said, I don't have any control over him. Alright, it's as Bug just fly up in the air saying, that's it, you're a dead man. As King Car said, bring it on. As Bug just flies up and up in the sky before spinning around in a tornado shape movement saying, how sir, impact. As King Card going ahead into Bakugo to, well, go and touch him. However, Midoriya knows exactly what King Card was going to do. He was going to, well, turn Bakugo into Card, so he just de-summoned him before he managed to touch Bakugo, leaving him vulnerable before Bakugo just slamming his explosion to the ground, and the smoke fills up the area. And President Mike said, what happened? Who's the winner? What happened? As Aizawa said, calm down, let the smoke clears. As everyone are on the edge of their seats, looking down, and the smoke started going away, slowly but surely. Until, when it's finally all goes away, they see Bakugo in the arena, standing above the unconscious body of Midoriya, holding him by his shirt saying, stand up, why did you pull your quirk away, Deku? This can't end up like this, I want to beat you fair and square, come on, stand up! As he was about to throw an explosion before midnight using her quirk to knock him out, coming closer saying, Katsuki Bakugo win, Izuku Midoriya loses. As well, President Mike said, phew, that was a very breathtaking fight. What did I say at the beginning of this Fort Festival? It will be a very breathtaking performance, am I right? But now, Katsuki Bakugo wins! As everyone starts, well, shouting and celebrating, while Emmy on her seat, she just, well, closing her fist saying, why did he pull away? As she just standing up saying, seriously, why did you pull away? As she just jumped down from the stand or from her seat to look down to see Midoriya been taken away by the, well, hospital bed. And she see also Bakugo being taken away because he also got some damage. So, after a couple of minutes, when Midoriya finally wakes up, he see himself on an hospital bed in the infirmary of, well, Recovery Girl. As he said, what happened? I feel like I got, exploded. As Emmy said, well, that's exactly what happened. As she just putting the back of her hand on his head, saying, are you okay? As Izuku said, yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay, Emmy? You seem sad. As she said, I was worried that something happened to you. As Izuku said, don't worry, I'm okay. After all, but immediately she just slaps him hard saying, why did you pull away your quirk? As Izuku said, what? As she slaps him again saying, you're gonna pay, you were about to win, why did you pull it away? You were just a couple of inches away from defeating him, and yet you pulled it away, why? As she slapped him a third time saying, like, we trained 2 weeks for this, and we made sure to prepare a plan for you, and yet you throw all that away just because your heart didn't allow you to hurt your old... Sometime I cannot get over you, Izuku Midoriya. As Izuku said, I'm sorry, but... As she said, explain, now. As Izuku said, okay, if you can just stop trying to slap me. As she said, fine. Sorry, got over myself a bit. As Izuku said, well, it's simple. King Card was about to turn Bakugo into a card. As Emmy said, and? As Izuku said, he was about to turn him into a card, you know what that means. As Emmy said, well... Alright, I understand what it means. As Izuku said, I don't want to kill Katsuki. You know that, Emmy. As Emmy said, well, couldn't you just do something else other than turning him into a card? As Izuku said, well, King Card was out of control at that moment for some reason. As Emmy said, out of control? There's no way a stand can get out of your control. You're the user. As Izuku said, I don't know anymore. Either way, I'm sorry. I know that I may disappointed you, but as Emmy said, don't worry. I understand. you don't want to kill anybody. After all, that's your hero mentality, so don't worry about it. However, we're gonna train more next week. After all, I'm not allowing you to walk around while not even able to control your own stand. As Izuku said, thanks. As Emmy said, well, get yourself together, the ceremony is about to begin. As Izuku just nods for Emmy. As Emmy leaving the room. And Izuku right now just thinking to himself saying, I need to talk with King Card about this. As he just summons King Card saying, King, what was all that about? As King said, we were about to defeat him, why did you? As Izuku said, you were about to turn Baku into a card. As King is just silent. As Izuku said, weren't you? As King said, can you blame me? As Izuku said, of course I can blame you. How many times shall I tell you? Do not turn people into cards. As King said, well, as Izuku said, no, you shut up. I don't want to hear another word from you. I got tired of your insolence. You refused my orders and caused us to lose. As King Card said, but as Izuku said, just go away. Just go away. As King Card just disappeared. Before Midoriya saying, sometimes I just don't understand. Where is Felix when you need him? Either way, after a couple of minutes have passed away, Izuku, Bakugo, and Tokoyami have taken the first, second, and third place in the ceremony, while Bakugo is really refusing his first place because he's not satisfied with the result of his fight. However, All Might just forced him on his neck. He gave the silver medal to Midoriya and the bronze one to Tokoyami. And this one gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you think about this fight, and this part, and what do you think will gonna happen in the next part. Well, I have nothing more to say then. Savert was here.